Welcome to ACES Well podcast. I'm Dr. J.D. Young. I want to thank you for joining me in this important conversation. We believe that true health is four-dimensional. It includes your body, chemistry, energy, and the soul. That's what ACES model stands for, and that's the lens we will use today as we unpack a viral news event with compassion and science. You have probably seen it. Elon Musk, entrepreneur, visionary, and one of the world's most scrutinized public figures, went on social media rampage against Donald Trump, President of the United States, publishing over 50 posts in one night. Well, our program is not a political show, and we're not here to take sides or judgment in who is right and who is wrong. But this public moment, one man's emotional explosion, has become a mirror for something much bigger. It raises critical questions about mental health, stress, neurodivergences, and how we understand human behavior. So let's talk about it. Here's what happened. That night of June 5th, Elon Musk launched into a series of online posts criticizing President Trump. Posts were sarcastic, mocking, and deeply personal. They weren't written like corporate statements. They felt impulsive, emotional, and even vindictive. It shocked a lot of people, not just because of the content, but because of the tone. Some accused him of immaturity. Others called him unstable. But some of us who work in mental health saw something familiar. What many people witnessed was not just an internet feud. It was a behavioral pattern we see in adults with undiagnosed or masked autistic spectrum traits, individuals with ADHD and rejection sensitivity, people with a history of emotional trauma or abandonment, or those under extreme physiological and psychological pressure. Let's break this down using the ACES model. In the ACES model, we look at health through four lenses. First, anatomy, such as the body structure like the nervous system, and like what injury could do to our body parts. Chemistry represents hormones, neurotransmitters, enzymes, and inflammation and infections. The third, energy, that manifests in our body temperature, heartbeat, bowel movements, and breathing. Also, it manifests in our movements, emotions, and thoughts. Environmental and emotional stress can be a big blow to our energetic balance. The last but not least, the soul. The soul represents our belief system and our view of the world. It reflects in our values, relationships, thoughts, behaviors, feelings, identities, and so on and so forth. When someone loses control, quote unquote, like Musk did, we must ask, is the structure of their nervous system under strain? Are they chemically depleted due to poor sleep, overstimulation, or inflammation? Are they energetically misaligned, triggered, reactive, emotionally stuck? Or are they spiritually fragmented, feeling betrayed, unworthy, or ashamed? Because emotional explosions are never just emotional, they're biopsychosocial and social, and sometimes spiritual events. Let's zoom in four behaviors that many people with neurodivergency or trauma experience under stress may display. First, impulsivities, saying things without filter, reacting instantly without pause. This isn't just a personality quirk. It's often tied to poorly regulated prefrontal cortex. Second, oppositional behavior. When someone is under threat or stress, their brain says, Whatever they want, I will resist it. It becomes a survival tactic. You see this in kids with oppositional defiant disorder, but also in adults who feel chronically controlled or invalidated. Number 3, aggression. Verbal outbursts, passive-aggressive language, public shaming. Again, this can be a way of getting big to protect oneself from emotional collapse. Number 4, splitting. A classic trauma response, especially in borderline personality or complex PTSD. The world becomes black and white. Someone is either my hero or my enemy. This lack of nuance creates deep relationship instability. These behaviors don't mean someone is broken. They are signals that someone's nervous system is dysregulated, and they don't yet have the tools to regulate it effectively. Let me share a case. Of course, details are changed for privacy. Michael, a 38-year-old tech entrepreneur, came to my clinic after burning bridge with investors during a product launch. He had ADHD, high IQ, and also traits of high-functioning autism, especially sensory sensitivity and social neutralness. Under stress, Michael became irritable, defiant, and emotionally explosive. He pushed people away, accused others of betrayal, and vacillated between rage and shame. We used the ACES model to map his trigger. Anatomy: he had cervical nerve tension and poor sleep. Chemistry: his lab showed high cortisol, low B6, low zinc, and unstable blood sugar. Energy: his stress response was overactive, tight breath, clenched jaw, and trouble sleeping. So, he had internalized the rejections from childhood bullying and feared failure. We worked across all dimensions: neurostructural treatments, nutritional correction, breath retraining, and emotional coaching. 6 months later, he no longer feared blowing up under pressure. He had rewired his response, not through suppression, but through awareness, regulation, and healing. These aren't just anecdotes. Let's back this up. Studies show that people with ASD or ADHD are more likely to experience: number 1, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, has extreme emotional pain from perceived rejection. Amygdala hyperactivation, the brain's fear center, goes into overdrive under stress. And the cognitive inflexibility, difficulty shifting perspectives, especially on the emotional threat. In one study published in Frontier in Psychology 2022, neurodivergent adults under interpersonal stress were more likely to engage in reactive aggression, not because they were violent, but because their emotional regulation circuitry was exhausted. And in studies of trauma survivors, splitting behavior often resolved when individual received integrated therapy, somatic work, cognitive repressal, breath work, and community support. So, how can you apply this? If you ever felt yourself about to explode emotionally, or if someone in your life has this pattern, these are the tools based on ACES model. Number 1, ACES grounding breathing. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 7, exhale 8 seconds. Repeat for 2-3 minutes, and this shifts your body from fight or flight into rest and regulate. Second, trigger mapping right down. What happened? What did I feel in my body? What story did my brain tell me? This helps you separate the facts from your nerve system's alarm. Number 3, energy hygiene. Just like we brush our teeth, we must care for our emotional energy. Journaling, walking in nature, creative expression, This discharge tension and restore energy flow. Since we recorded this episode, something significantly happened. Elon Musk publicly apologized for his emotional outbursts. He admitted he went too far and took responsibility for the way he expressed himself. In a world that often rewards defiance and ego, this moment of humility is rare and deeply meaningful. Why? Because apology is not weakness, it's neurological growth. When someone can reflect on their actions, acknowledge the harm, and take ownership, that's a sign the prefrontal cortex is back online. It means the brain is no longer hijacked by fear or rage. It's a return to regulation. This is exactly what we teach in ACES model. Step 1 is awareness. Step 2 is safety and the nerve system reset. Step 3 is integration, where insight turns into choice. For many neurodivergent adults, impulsivity and explosive behavior are tied to chronic dysregulation. But here's the hope. Regulation can be learned. Apologizing doesn't erase the past, but it changes the trajectory of the future. In clinic, we see this all the time. When a patient with ASD or trauma disorder learns to pause, reflect, or repair, the shift in their relationships is dramatic. Children feel safer, partners feel respected, business become more stable, and the person themselves feels more whole. So, if Elon Musk can own his behavior in front of millions, maybe we can all take a breath today and ask, what part of me is still hurting? Who have I pushed away when I felt overwhelmed? What would a healing look like across the 4 dimensions of anatomy, chemistry, energy, and soul? Healing starts with honesty. It grows with support, and it becomes sustainable with compassion and tools. Thank you for walking this journey with me. You can learn more at acesworld.com and access breathing techniques, healing practices, and training for families and professionals. Subscribe to stay informed, and let's transform judgment into healing, one episode at a time. This is Dr. J.D. Yang. Stand apart, protect your health, live 4-dimensionally.